Can't you waive that?
Huh?
Can't you waive it?
Can't you waive what?
Whatever fee or whatever.
You can do all of those different things. I'm just saying that a lot of what I've been seeing, my experience, because like I tell everybody from the beginning, you know, I do this every day off of experience. Off of experience, straight off of experience, you can say and do whatever's necessary. You know what I mean? That you need to do to protect yourself legally based on the argument you're making. But it's always going to come down to they got the guns right now in that position. That's just how I've been able to see it. You know what I mean? That's at the bottom line of it. Now, because you're in a war type situation, you know, well, it's not type of situation, it's actually a war. It's about countering. Just like in any fight, in boxing, there's a counter for every punch. You gotta duck, throw another punch. You know what I mean? You gotta plan and strategize to see how you're gonna attack the enemy. You know what I mean? So the strategy is very important in any kind of legal situation. You know, you hear attorneys and all that get together and talk about how they want to prepare some kind of legal strategy.
Brother Shahab, you just mentioned a great point about putting the lien against the municipality. I believe you're talking about either a warranty lien or a mechanic's lien, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
No, there's a common law lien, you can do that also. That's a beautiful tactic in that when you put that lien against that municipality, they now can issue bonds, get credit, and get financing with respect to the municipality. So you literally are shutting down business at that point, okay? And then the only way that can be exhausted and released is by the individual with that lien. So you really have to deal with them at that point, and you really are affecting them in the case.
But that also has to be done properly.
Right, it has to be done properly. But it also is just one of the different things you should focus on other than, you know, really utilizing. When you're dealing with, like Brother Tyler was saying, when you're dealing with the municipals, when you say the Constitution, that really gets them, they get alert then. They really do. I don't care what it is, what kind of situation. If you say something about my constitutional rights are being violated, you put that on the record, and they'll start to slow their speed down a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's actually what Brother Colonel did. He's saying that his constitutional rights is being violated, and that he's already notified the provost marshal, because I did do, you know, documentation, different things like that. You know what I mean? I actually got an email back from that department, not from the provost marshal, but I got an email back from, you know, there's a lot of specifics of how you even got to contact the right provost marshal. Because they got provost marshals, but then there's provost marshal specifically for certain issues that's pertaining to constitutional rights violations. And they really slowed their speed up. They slowed it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was going to wait until after y'all ask the questions. But even in New York, dealing with the provost marshals, it's much harder because even with the sheriff, he's appointed, he's not elected here in New York. So I got to deal with that. And then I'm dealing with the provost marshal who's in the Army base.
Right.
And what's our Army base?
Fort Bragg?
Fort Hamilton.
Right.
Fort Hamilton Army base.
Right.
And he's very hard to get in touch with.
Right.
The provost marshal there. So how do I deal with that?
You already know now. Let me mention again.
Here.
Now, I want to mention to all you all again, just like we're here doing the mock, and just like people come here and they go to other classes to start getting concepts together. What you have to do with each other is get the people that you're involved with out of this concept of collecting documents and trying to buy sovereignty with the Uniform Commercial Codes. And get them to deal with the principle that all of these things ultimately must be litigated under, and that is international law principle. You understand? All right. You're under occupation. There are still rules of war that go on. The problem with it is you keep not acting like you're being warred against. And so you keep approaching them as if you're in a proper jurisdiction and they're just not being fair, or you don't understand the procedures and like that. And yes, but no. You know, and being a natural person, and this is also why you don't allow them, or you object when they try to list you on their documents as pro se when you come there in appropriate persona. Because as Brother Jelani was saying, you know, they don't have any authority to deal with a natural person in the first place. Other deal of it is, just because they declared war against their citizens, you're not their citizens. And this is why you never allow them to put any documents before you saying that you're a U.S. citizen. So anything that they deal with you and they have any documents, even if they got you under a kidnap, under arbitrary, etc., and anything they said, you're a U.S. citizen, you not only you say no, you say that's why you always ask the judge for under discovery any documents they have relative to you, so that you can take it to counsel of your choice, which is logical, and then review it. You know, you don't make any decisions on anything they place before you in that court. You wait on discovery, take it with you, then you go back to your counsel, just like, right, take your brothers, all right, and then when everybody's together, you have days where you come together with your legal affairs under the Qazi or whoever may be assigned, etc. That would be your Aboriginal Indigenous law area. And that's when you would have your regular business meetings to deal with those matters. You would present it, and furthermore, the truth of the matter is when you organize, those documents would have already been there before you even went to the court.
Right.
And this is where we keep blowing it. We keep trying to claim the sovereignty as individuals.
Brother Tyler, I do have one question for the brother who plays the role of defendant. And that question is, you kept stating for the record, on the record, that you were you. Okay?
By the way, that's enemy, the Trading with the Enemies Act.
Okay.
That they say the United States citizen is an enemy of, enemy of the country.
Okay. What would have happened, and would the whole adjudication have transpired if you had said, well, he kept asking for your name, if you would have said, my appellation is, and then proceeded to give it, what would have happened at that point?
I just off experience, they'll ask, what is an appellation? I've heard them ask that. I would say, so, some of them I just think are pretty dumb, or they just very good actors, which, depending on which way you want to go with it.
The reason being is because, remember, you have a situation of diversity of states. They don't have the authority to have any record on you. They don't have an authority to attempt to identify you. You see what I'm saying? So why would you give them a nomen or an appellation so they can put it on the record and put it in all caps? Then I would have to waste my breath to go, I am John, capital J, lowercase o, H, now.
Yeah.
The thing about hearsay evidence, since this is a court of law, you're putting in evidence that they want to put on the record. Most people don't remember the name that they were given at the time of their birth. So that means that any name that you choose to accept is some hearsay. You don't remember the time or the date of your birth.
What is the date of birth?
Usually somebody comes along and tells you that that's the date that you were born, and this was the name that you were given. But your dog calls you wolf, your cat calls you meow. And when they're happy with you, they call you one thing. When they're not happy with you, they call you another. So you have many different appellations. It's only inanimate objects typically that have a name, not living natural beings.
And a date of birth is a legal term. Are you qualified to give a legal opinion? Do you even know what a date of birth is? Like you said, it's hearsay. Right.
We were looking for Title 18, 241, 242. David found USC Title 42. The problem with that is that it deals with civil rights. If I arrow down, we don't want civil rights. 242. Every person who under color, that's 240. That's 42. That's civil rights. Oh, all right. Here we go. Here it is. All right. Do you want to read it or you want to? All right. Now, see this arrow right there? That title. Thank you. I didn't see that. USC Title 18 Crime 241. This arrow is how you arrow down to read it. It's two or more persons. We want to really emphasize this. It's going to read what these titles are because a lot of people do not know, and I know you don't, that this exists, and it is Title 18 that you utilize back to the courts or to anyone in the court officer that they can be, that they are violating and they can be sued for it. And here's what it says.
Under Title 18 of the United States Code, which covers crimes and criminal procedures, under Section 241, conspiracy against rights of citizens, it states, if two or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any citizen in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or because of his having so exercised the same, or if two or more persons go in disguise on the highway or on the premises of another with intent to prevent or hinder his free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege so secured, they shall be fined not more than $10,000 or imprisoned for not more than 10 years, or both. And if death results, they shall be subject to imprisonment for any term of years or for life. Title 18, criminal procedures. This is 242. The deprivation of rights under color of law. Whoever under color of law of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom willfully subjects any inhabitant in any state, territory, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or laws protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or the different punishments, pain, or penalties on account of such inhabitants being an alien, or by reason of his color or race, then are prescribed for the punishment of citizens, shall be fined not more than $1,000 or imprisoned not more than 1 year, or both. And if death results, shall be subject to imprisonment for any term of a year, of any term of years, or for life.
Wow. So that means that is.
So that's $11,000 per violation.
Right.
Also, I just want to say,
Per violation.
Per violation.
That's per each violation, that's for.
So that means when the judges or magistrates, prosecutors,
Any
all
color
of that,
authority.
any of them can keep you from exercising your constitutional, your rights invested in the Constitution, you can go back on them and sue them with Title 18.
it also goes on, you can go on the FBI website and they'll tell you who's color of authority as well. You can go right on the FBI website, they'll tell you municipals, states, state police, all those different things, the color of authority. And they actually have some kind of complaint form that you can file against them as well for an investigation. That's all the FBI is, they just investigate. What they do is file a complaint with the Department of Justice though. You see what I'm saying?
On the one, I believe they send the same thing through the mail. They now commit a mail fraud under Title 18 too, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't speak into the mic, right?
Yes, I believe if they send a deprivation, some type of thing, with respect to deprivation of rights to the mail, they now are committing mail fraud. I don't know what the penalty is for that, but I do know I believe there's jail time for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on.
Excuse me.
My question is, so what are those types of limitations on that, if a judge does that?
This is why you must know what fraud is, because there's no statute of limitation on fraud. This is also why it's important for the people to understand why you nationalize, because if you make a claim in a name that's not yours, you're done. It's similar to Mortus, you're dead in the eyes of the law. So people need to understand, why is it that you nationalize? Why did Noble Raleigh start in 1913 what he did? Because none of these arguments can be made by you or for you if you're not national.
Right.
Your property. Do you understand? State property. So that must be understood intrinsically and absolutely.
Can you make us understand the process of filing liens?
No. We're not doing liens now. We're doing mock court right now. We're gonna do one more mock court.
Well, basically this. Just like you do a mechanics lien, like you do some work here, and you're not compensated for it. In the same way you file a lien, one of the things that I always suggest people do, whenever you go to court anyway, to their court under whatever issue, you know, you're going under threat, arrest, and coercion, special appearance anyway, but they're going to act like you didn't anyway. But the point of it is, at that time, in this rehab organization, you start keeping a record. How much is he worth for the time that he spent it? And you construct a bill and you send it to the municipality and to the commissioner. You understand? Now that bill, and you give them so many days to pay it. And as soon as they default, you put a lien on them. In other words, you know how like when you go to court and they give you a claim of so much for a fine and then cost of court? When you go to court, make a bill. Every time you go to court, make a bill. And bill them. And mail it to them, certified. And then, when they default on it, put a lien on it. But this is, again, where you come together, and these fundamentals you must learn. The other thing that I want to mention to you, like Brother Raj has mentioned to me earlier, and we talked about this many times. Another reason why we want to make sure that you all get your concepts together, because we want everyone who comes here to become more adept in what your position is, what your rights are. Because we're going to put out a national call for class action suits in all the states of active conscious morals. But we don't want anyone involved who doesn't understand what they're doing. We want to make sure you understand what this is, what you're doing, and you're going to file suits. And you're going not, and we ain't just talking about with the Hague. You'll put them on notice. But there's still an international venue here. Just like you can file a suit in another state, state, and state does not mean like New York. State means a political system. This is a state right here. And you have a right to exercise and determine your own status of the state, but you must be national. And some of these fundamental principles you must understand is what Il Malik was trying to tell some of the people before they bumped him off, that he woke up to. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? The deal of it is that you must become absolutely conscious of what everybody was promising to tell and didn't tell you. Do you understand? So we want to make sure that you understand, so we're going to tell you. But logically, like anything else, you will not get this conceptually just in a conversation or a couple of meetings. You must conceptually be involved in your civil affairs so you can become conscious really what nationality and birthright actually is. So anyone who's a signatory to the suit, we're not only going to send a copy, you understand, to the Supreme Court, not these district courts, the single one in Washington, the United States Court, not the district court of. You understand? The one that people don't know that's really the only operational one. Of course, it puts them on the spot. And again, when you notify the Department of Justice, they have an obligation to do an investigation. So you can write an ordinary letter of complaint of an injury to yourself, name the parties, mail it to them, and put these CCs on it. And if you start doing that, because remember, a lot of times, and I'm going to tell you honestly, a lot of times when we deal with wars in these state courts, it's really because we want you to get the exercise and the will to fight. Not that we expect you to win. We're really trying to get you, trying to turn that jab, no, not. Saying, snap. You understand what I'm saying? Turn that fist. You understand? Now we're going to give you a little exercise. You're going to get beat up sometimes. You get beat up anyway. But when you become adept, now we're going to get in the ring and knock Tyson out. You understand? Because you're going to understand what you're doing. You're not going to be operating on emotions. But understand, so in due time, and what we're going to do, we're going to issue another issue of the Al-Iraqi Star, and we'll put that out nationally. We're also going to put it on the website. But we're going to make sure that you all got it going on.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to read Title 18 of the United States Code, Part 1, Chapter 45, subsection 970. It said protection of property occupied by foreign governments. Whoever willfully injures, damages, or destroys, or attempts to injure, damage, or destroy any property, real or personal, located within the United States and belonging to or utilized or occupied by any foreign government or international organization by a foreign official or official guest shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 5 years or both. Whoever willfully with intent to intimidate, coerce, threaten, or harass, forcibly thrust any part of himself or any object within or upon that portion of any building or premises located within the United States, which portion is used or occupied for official business or for diplomatic, consular, or residential purposes by a foreign government, including such use as a mission to an international organization, and B, an international organization, C, a foreign official, or D, an official guest, or 2, refuses to depart from such portion of such building or premises after a request by A, an employee of a foreign government or of an international organization, if such employee is authorized to make such request by the senior official of the unit of such government or organization which occupies such portion of such building or premises. B, by a foreign official or any member of the foreign official staff who is authorized by the foreign official to make such request, by an official guest or any member of the official guest staff who is authorized by the official guest to make such request. D, by any person present having law enforcement powers shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 6 months or both. C, for the purpose of this section, foreign government, foreign official, international organization, and official guest shall have the same meanings as those provided in section 1116B of this title. In the course of enforcement of this section and any other sections prohibiting a conspiracy or attempt to violate this section, the Attorney General may request assistance from any federal, state, or local agency, including the Army, Navy, and Air Force, any statute, rule, or regulation to the contrary notwithstanding. I just wanted to read that, and it's just one last piece in here where it talks about, let me just see if I can pull it up. It says, it defines what a foreign government is, and it discusses how it's not, how it doesn't have to be recognized by the United States.
The United States is unlawful in itself, those persons. So you don't need their acknowledgement.
Right, that's the point.
Back to also, when a lot of Moors get this idea, get this idea they have to file with them, or file not with them.
Right.
What title was that 18 again?
What you've got to be is national, in the first place, in the first instance, and get away from the concept of doing emergency crash nationalizations.
What title was that? In that title?
Yeah, I'm pulling up. This is
Title, he wants to know the title.
It's blank screen. I'm pulling it back up. Hold on 1 second.
All right, all right. Yeah. We're going to do, after he gives you that information, we're going to do another one. Someone to come up ad hoc
Who wants to come up and just
for
wants to come
trial.
up as
And judge will beat up on them.
But first they gotta talk to the prosecutor. And
Prosecutor,
And then it'll go on anybody.
and Nico's going to beat up on them.
All right, just have this right here next to Brother Dennis.
Excuse me,
Until we're ready for you.
I'd like to point something out. I've done quite a bit of research in this area of law that coincides with everything that's been stated. When the conspiracy stuff was mentioned a while ago, some thoughts may have gone through some people's minds about how the hell can I prosecute these people in these governments in a conspiratorial way. It happens to be very, very easy. And just as the law was being read about what we know they are doing in government and how we are being affected by it, all we have to do is start using those laws against them instead of being fools the way they use those laws, because they bring the paperwork to court. They put everybody on the defensive, and you can never win playing defense, all right? We have to pull their asses into court the way they do it to everybody else and let them know that we're tired of what they're doing. That's a simple way to phrase it, but Beyond that, conspiracy is so easy to prove, it's almost a joke. You don't have to prove that they spoke about anything in connection with you or me, or any of us. You don't have to prove that they plotted it, that they planned it. It's just this simple. You only have to show that person A did that part of the damage that occurred to you. You then show person B did that part of the damage that occurred to you. Person C or some government agency or whatever did that part of the damage to you. That is all that the law requires to prove conspiracy, not what you're looking at on TV or in movies. It's all baloney. And by the way, civil RICO is much more powerful than these laws. And one simple thing that gives you a lot more power, that's going to help you financially and help our nation, whatever that ultimately becomes financially, is if you use something like RICO, just like those laws were mentioned, file it under a law that's going to hurt somebody, not tap them on the wrist. Whatever a jury decides about our damages using civil RICO, it gets trickled automatically by law. That's just for starters. There's a lot of other advantages.
That's right. Right, brother. Thank you.
That quote was Title 18, Part 1, Chapter 45, Subsection 970 or 97. But that's the protection of property occupied by foreign governments. And then the other one, there's another.
This is like when they come to your house or anything. And this is another reason why it's important for you to be national. And also have those notices, like in your own paper. But remember, the more conscious you get, the less clerks and others will be willing to take any documents from you to file them. Because it creates a liability for them.
Right.
So this is why you should also have your own paper.
So imagine that it also would apply against you if you're, say, visiting, say, a home, nursing home patient or something like that?
I want to make sure everybody hears you. Excuse me.
I said again, I would imagine that it would also be working against you if you were, say, visiting someone in a nursing home or a hospital and then you're being asked to leave or not recognized for your identity.
Now remember, and this is when you go back to even under the Clinton administration, when they reaffirmed the obligation of the several states to recognize treaties, etc., and also them being a party of the United Nations, they have an obligation under international law to recognize indigenous people's documents. But what we fail to do is sue them on those principles, because they're violating you then. But they're denationalizing you then, they're making you a straw at that time. Because they're interfering with your rights. And at that time, you can sue that person. That's why you want to keep that consciousness and keep a record. Always don't fail to make notes when you're dealing with different people, so that you can also send that to your own law firm and plan suits against these persons. And once you start causing them, after a while they will start. Oh, you got anything else you want to show me?
No. I was trying to figure that if it becomes possible, whereas do they try to trap you off? Can you prosecute them?
That's what we just showed you. That's what type of thing.
Again, I want to make mention of this, and this is to those who come here. Keep this in mind. One of the biggest mistakes I see that most lawyers make when they keep trying to be somebody other than who they are. Understand that the judges are Masons, the industrialists are Masons, the high priests are Masons, the reverends are Masons. You understand? The rabbis are Masons. They got affairs. You understand? They didn't make treaties with the left-hand Moors with the tan sneaks. And they didn't make treaties with the feather cap Moors. You understand? And they didn't make treaties with the Blackfoot Moors. They made the treaties with the Moroccan Empire.
I mean, the Pope.
When you divide yourself, you lose your sovereignty. You're clipping yourself. Do you understand? All these Asiatics are Moors. And once you start honoring your mothers and fathers, the law is behind you. Once you start trying to play that game, you know, oh, she got the earrings on, so she's the earring Moor. As soon as you start that dizzy stuff, this man knows that you don't understand birthright. And you're just giving him a mandate. You understand? And so remember that Tom Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, John Barclay as an agent in business were assigned ministers plenipotentiary. That's why you got potentate in masonry. They ain't the founding fathers. We're the founding fathers that gave them authority to treat with us. Before the Articles of Association and Confederation was made, that's the great Masonic secret, or what you call the Great Seal. And if you don't understand that, you're going to approach this whole thing wrong. You understand? You got to have that in your head and in your heart and in your mind. And understand, dumb people are not going to tell you those things. You understand? But that's in their mind as soon as they see you. As soon as you get that bay or eel. The first thing they're going to see where your mind is coming from. And if your mind is not coming from that angle, they're going to know you went down 7-Eleven or down CVS somewhere and copied some papers and bought some package from somebody and you's a fool.
Islam family, yeah, and that's the truth. That's why you have to be who you say you are, like in the courtroom. Yeah, when I'm ever questioned or put on the podium, I just say I am that I am. So that speaks volumes because they're Masons, so they know what I am, that I am me, because they're ADAP chamber members as well. So that's who I am. I've come to lay a solid rock, a sure foundation stone, in which this temple can never be destroyed. So see, these are things that they can't challenge. So like the brother said, they can, but see, once you hold to the Constitution, they can't do anything for the regular peace.
I just wanted to say this real quick too. It's a couple things. Like what the brother said, just realizing when you're in municipal court though, everybody knows what's going on. The Pope, you can find that picture that Mother Rod showed earlier. That's on the New York Times website. With the Pope? Yeah, with the Pope. And when you look up, you can just go to Wikipedia and type in Pope's coat of arms or shield or whatever, and they'll tell you a Moor's head. It doesn't say a black man's head. It doesn't say African American head. It doesn't say African head. It says a Moor's head. You know what I mean? And he was standing there like he was Christ with his arms out, with this big old Moor at the top of it. So I don't know what else is necessary to explain, but also just a strategy real quick.
No. I'm saying he wants to make a comment to that, and I want to say, you said that he had his hands stretched out like Christ.
Right.
He is, I know, right? No, it's called the vicar.
As your repository, you're the clerk of court. You have to have the concept, the mentality that you are the Article 3 judge. So that way, when they don't respond, when you refuse their contract and they don't drop the case, you can put a default judgment on them by understanding, civil procedure and things of that nature. All right?
That's right. All right, you go ahead.
Yeah, this one thing, but just to add on, like a lot of times when you're in municipal court, the new thing they're doing is, well, I don't know if it's new, but they'll try to refer you to a psychiatrist or something. No, literally, they will. No, they really will. They really will try to do that. They'll say that what you're saying is not applicable for the venue, so they'll, refer you to a psychiatrist. But I just say this real quick, and then what happens is you gotta utilize that though, because they're gonna assess your state of mind. The psychiatrists, doesn't matter their creed, race, or whatever, they're very smart individuals. So, what you have to do is go in there and if you have to go in there and get a psychiatrist evaluation or psych evaluation, you want to document the duress that you've been under, because then you can turn around and use that in the suit as well. You see what I'm saying?
I want to use the science behind that. They call that hearing a 7:30 hearing. I know anyone who's ever dealt with that, they call it a 7:30 hearing. And the reason why is because under the Torah and other certain forms of law, an individual is supposed to be, is claimed to be in an insane mind at least twice a day. So when you take the 2, multiply by 365, you get to 7:30. That's why it's called 7:30.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, brother.
Last thing, just to read, this is for, just so everybody has a clear understanding about foreign governments, and you know, when the municipals, the states, or whatever they are, you know, when they come at you and say that you're fraudulent or you're full of something, this is out of Title 18, Part 1, Chapter 1, subsection 11. It says, foreign government defined. The term foreign government, as used in this title, except in sections 112, 878, 970, 1116, and 1201, includes any government, faction, or body of insurgents within a country with which the United States is at peace, irrespective of recognition by the United States. So even saying they own United States code, that they don't have to respect you as a foreign government for you to be a foreign government. So yeah, that's very key. And then the thing is, you know, going to them, one of the main things is when you go to them for documentation, you get the authentication, they're just putting a seal on it. You know, so when you start to get your own government, we start to get our own governments, you know, properly organized and get back to the constitutional goal of things, then, you know, you can start effectuating things as a government. So,
it's also important because the consciousness that has been displayed in North America for the last 20, 25 years has inspired a lot of the other Americans to start nationalizing their other states. And so when you see the states, the southern states, you must understand, states don't mean, you know, like New York, New Jersey. States is nations or states, all right? And just like you've got the OAS, the Organization of American States. And this is why you also must not allow them to get away with calling this country America without challenging them and correcting them. Because this country has no name. Do you understand? Because this is Morocco. Morocco's under occupation, which is why they just say America. But the American states go from Alaska to Chile. And all of those are Americans. And the American states have already spoken on your behalf. And Raleigh spoke for you. But the deal is, you have to make your brothers and sisters conscious so they can claim their lost estate and their inheritance. And get them out of believing anything and start acting like they know. You know, now, and again, I want to remind you all, one of the reasons why we have you sign in is because you're dealing with Moorish affairs. You are the state. Do you understand? All right. So, and if you're national, and this is one of the reasons, again, why we want to remind you what nationality does on a legal perspective, both foreign jurisdictions and your domicile jurisdictions, etc., and on your land. And until we correct that with the people, the arguments that they've been placing or putting forth have no validity. Because they don't carry with stateless persons. You understand? A stateless person automatically comes as a ward of the state. And as a ward of the state, and I want to remind you all too, I want to give you a legal perspective so that you'll understand arguments too. One of the reasons why they call the occupied people minorities is because that's a legal status. It doesn't just mean an infant in the perspective that you think it does. And it doesn't mean just numbers in a minority position as you think it does. It means a status. Once these people, under the leadership of agents that work with the occupied government, start agreeing that they were people of color and minority, they didn't know that they were legal terms. Now, under the wardship, and you know, the military wardship, you know, that's what yellow flags, yellow flinch or brown flags. Under wardship, they don't have to account for the profits made off of the person. And they have what you call jurisdictional control of both the body and the land. Do you understand? I mean, is everybody clear on this? Follow me. Everybody clear? Under wardship tenures or military rule, which is what's happening, they have jurisdiction over the person, personam jurisdiction, and the land, and don't have to account for the profits. If you agree that you're a minority Even after you become 21, you are still a ward. And this is the trick on why they perpetrated that minority stuff amongst us and then put leaders that were assigned amongst you to keep pushing that as if it has some legitimacy, when actually they were painting you into wardship in perpetuity. So don't allow anybody to call you a minority. It's another reason why you must be yourself. I just want to throw that out at you.
Are we ready for the next case? Or what's the name? Because we need to get out. You know, it's 9:30. We have to be out by 10, and I wanted to get at least one more in. Do y'all have it together, or? He's not defending. You're defending.
So you my case and you ain't defending me?
No. We just setting it up because typically the prosecutor in the courtroom is the one who's supposed to have the case, the claim against you. That's what he says anyway. But upon asking him, such as Brother Giovanni did, well, he was setting up to ask, what's your nationality? The next thing he was going to do was ask the prosecutor what their nationality was, right, Giovanni? The next thing he would have done was ask the prosecutor what his nationality was, and then ask, do they have a claim against him, of which he's going to say he's prosecuted John Smith and he does not have a claim against him. And the judge certainly can't have a claim against you. He's only supposed to be the mediator, supposedly, or the magistrate. So once you say for the record, state your name for the record, do you have a claim against me? He says no. And he states his name, the judge, for the record, the nationality, do you have a claim? He's got to say no. Then you say, well, who does? And they say the state up. Well, state up is a corporation, it's fictitious, it cannot show itself, so therefore, you must face your accuser, and it can't be done. So that's the fictitious. So that's what he was actually setting up for. Did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, it's just something very quick. And another reason why I didn't really pay too much attention to the prosecutor is because I'm in here in proprio persona juris. I'm not pro se. When you claim pro se, then you put the prosecutor in the equation. The only person I want to talk to is this judge. You see what I'm saying? He's a mute poem right now. You know, he's not existent. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I really didn't pay too much attention to what the prosecutor was talking about.
What's your status in persona?
In proprio persona juris.
Impropria, meaning Latin, improper person, impropria persona.
In one's own property.
In one's own proper person. One's own proper person. Like you could be somebody else's, right? Proper. Excuse me? The what?
Black's Law Dictionary.
Oh, Black's Law Dictionary, yes, we can read that. We'll make that, well, would you find it? Now, this case is going to be, this situation is going to be one where the brother is the defendant. He don't know nothing about being a proper person, right? He gets known in the courtroom like most people, all right? And he got a little situation that he's creating here or whatever it may be. We'll know in 1 minute, and let's see what happens. And we're going to show you what the judge is going to do. I know you're going to get beat up, because that's all that you can do. And then, if he should hire an attorney, one that is at law, well, you want to play the attorney for him? No, he can't even do it. It ain't even in his soul and his bones to play no attorney. To be someone to put somebody in a tourniquet. He can't do it. He can't play at law, because the only real lawyers are Morris. You are the law. So nobody wants to play the attorney for him, y'all. You know, I think he's gonna get beat up pretty bad. So we don't need an attorney, right? Or I don't know, Judge. You might have to say. Now here's why the judge said, "Come back here with an attorney," because he just wants to make sure that they get a little piece of the finances that go to avoid that work. That's all. And then the attorney makes you think that he's gonna represent you, and all he's really gonna do is they may have wanted to charge you $5,000. He said, "Look, I can get this down to $3,000 or something like that." That's all they're doing is playing games with you, for real. All right, or what are we looking for? All right. And propria persona, and one's own proper person. That means she can't be in someone else's. It is a rule in pleading that pleas to the jurisdiction of the court must be pled in proper and propria persona. Because if pleaded by an attorney, they admit the jurisdiction. As an attorney is an officer of the court, and he is presumed to plead after having obtained leave, which admits the jurisdiction. Hello, you can't get an attorney. You're admitting to the jurisdiction.
So you better
Can't be
look
done.
sharp.
So, next case, prosecutor. You ready? Oh, well, judge had to go to take a rest, to the restroom. But now the brother's here, the first thing he's gonna do.
Yeah, I would just. Yeah,
Isn't he gonna come and talk to the prosecutor like most people?
yeah.
Oh, y'all already did that part.
Yeah, again, it's just, we're just running through some things, just throwing some scenarios out there. It's not, formal. We have, it's all safety purposes.
Yes.
Push that up.
We have, Your Honor, we have, John Smith, the defendant John Smith versus the state of New Jersey. Defendant has a illegal possession of a firearm.
State your name for the record, sir.
John Smith.
Sit down so we can stand up.
John Smith.
John Smith, I see you have illegal possession of a...
You gotta stay raised, bro.
John Smith, I see you have
Can't beat up on you if you go sit
possession of
down.
a firearm in the state of New York, of New Jersey, in the state of New Jersey.
I don't understand the state of New Jersey.
What do you not understand about the state of New Jersey, sir?
I don't understand the term.
Okay, well, sir, maybe you need to get an attorney for that, so he can explain that to you.
Well, me knowing a little bit, I don't need an attorney, actually. With me being my own, I can actually say...
So you're representing yourself?
Yes, as a pro se defendant, yes. Okay.
All right, so sir, being that you have these charges here, how would you like to plead to this?
I will not plead because there's not an injured party.
The state of New York says the state of New Jersey is the injured party, sir.
There's no injured party, actually, because New Jersey cannot be a state.
Prosecutor, do you have anything you'd like to add to these charges?
Yes, Your Honor. Defendant was found, was charged with illegal possession of a firearm without a license. He doesn't have any license to carry one. He actually has a criminal record. He's a felon, so he's not supposed to have those things. Defendant, in initial reports, as you can see here, stated that he would seek an attorney, but I guess he's not doing it now. So the bottom line, Your Honor, is that he's a felon. He was found with a illegal firearm, possession of illegal possession of a firearm. Excuse me, Your Honor. And that statute carries a maximum of 10 years. So is he going to plead guilty or not guilty, Your Honor? Because this is pretty much basic stuff.
Sir, as you know, how long you lived in this state, but in the state of New Jersey, it is a known fact that all citizens of the state of New Jersey must carry a license for all firearms. And the penalty is $10,000 per charge.
First off, me being not a felon, because I was never convicted of a felony. And second, I will not plead guilty today because in the United States Constitution, we have a right to bear arms. If you check, I'm not sure, but I know.
Can you cite that, sir?
Actually, if I'm not, I think it's article.
The defendant was found on December 1996. He was convicted of vehicular manslaughter. He just got out about 2 months ago. He's been found with illegal possession of a firearm.
Sir, just for the record, are you a resident of New Jersey?
No, I'm not a resident of New Jersey.
Okay, what do you consider yourself, sir?
Actually, my nationality is of Asiatic descent. Is my origin.
What's your nationality? What is your nationality, sir?
My nationality?
No, the judge did not ask that. What he wanted to say to you is that on this piece of paper, you do have that address. And we all understand right now, so far, we're gonna continue where he's wrong at, right? You heard it from the very beginning, right? He don't know what the hell he's talking about, for one thing. And the judge knows this, so all he's gonna do is well, you need to get an attorney, because he knows he doesn't know what he's talking about.
John, I see you are.
But he said he represented himself.
But if he was gonna do pro se, then that means, if he's gonna do pro se, then that means, yes, but if he's doing pro se, then what we can say is, he should be dealing with the three things. Status, jurisdiction.
We'll get there, but I'm saying, right?
No, he passed it already.
Yeah, I'm just
Giving
saying,
it up
we'll
already.
backtrack and go through the sponsor a little bit, but he said he's pro se, he
All right.
represented himself. So, you know, he's got.
The judge wasn't asked for nationality. Now. Yeah. No, that doesn't happen. Did you mean to say that or say all right, whatever. You can play with him like that if you want.
Okay, sir, I see you're residing in the state of New Jersey, and your address here, 123 Martin Luther King Lane. So as you know, as a resident of New Jersey, I hear your argument is frivolous. So
Now, you don't have an address.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more, because the defendant said that he's not a resident of the state of New Jersey. His driver's license is a copy of his driver's license. Gives his address there, Your Honor. Defendant also said he's not a convicted felon. He was convicted in 1997 of vehicular manslaughter. There goes the criminal record, the arrest record as well, Your Honor. Defendant also has been arrested several times for domestic violence. I'm saying, they throw the book at you. They come at you hard. You know, if they come at you, they're going to come. They're going to come out there. You know, they'll dig in, 12 years from it, they'll dig into it, they'll get into it. So clearly the defendant is he's not aware that he's under oath. You are aware you're under oath.
No.
You already are.
Your Honor, I have nothing more further to say other than that the court give recommendation for a psych evaluation. The defendant is clearly not, nothing that the defendant is saying is intelligible. It's all unintelligible. So I just recommend that the court, on behalf of the court, that you recommend that he gets a psych evaluation to see if he's fit to stand trial, or should you get him an attorney, because he's clearly not able to represent himself.
No, he's not responding.
No, this defendant is not competent to stand trial at this time. I recommend that he seek psych evaluation. At this time, this case is adjourned.
And now they can hold you to it. And basically, this is another thing. When they say that you had a weapon, you said no, I had no weapons. not only was the subject matter, he didn't have any weapons. He was bearing arms, exercising a right. You don't have no weapons. And it's not semantics. That's number one. Number two.
Can I ask you something though? Because this is an opportunity for me to learn as well, since you said that. But from the beginning, he said he was John Smith.
Yes, he was John. Well,
he was John Smith.
He already accepted the jurisdiction.
Right. So, but then he accepted the status that is attached, all that he's contracts that is attached to all of those different things. Yes. So, whether he had the weapon or not, is still subject. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is he still subject to, based on the fact that he said he was artificial entity
and pro se.
And pro se.
So he can be pro secuted.
Right.
But again, and it goes back to when you say you pro se, all right, they can hold you to a standard of their form and procedure.
Right.
In propria persona, first of all, they don't have the authority to deal with you in the first place.
Right.
And of course, under writ, etc., any accusation that you had, that they had against you, you know, under writ of discovery, you supposed to had walked in here with all those things in front of you anyway, not just in front of you, but having them in your possession, and also having the time to have reviewed them with counsel before you became here. So since they didn't do that, now you can tell the judge to do his job and see that that takes place now, and you can stop everything.
Right.
You'll stop the court.
And even if the state has a witness, there's no injured party, he doesn't understand what a weapon is, if he used to ask those questions in discovery. Yeah.
No. And there's no corpus electi.
That's all subject matter alone.
Yes.
Even if he was to mess up on in persona, and you just, you know, just completely bomb that, and you know, messed up that whole process, he could still get his case dismissed by just challenging subject matter alone.
Now, this is my thing, because a lot of us theorize, right? Because we just going off the hair, off the cuff here. But my thing is with the case. See, the thing is, a lot of different things that go into, you know, when you're in there, you're making these debates back and forth about these issues. It's a gun charge.
Yes.
So that's a very juicy case for them.
Yeah.
They want to put you away for that.
Yes.
Then the history behind it, you know what I mean?
Yes, that's why they pack it.
Right. So the thing is, like when you say they could be dismissed, but to me, it's more of a discretionary thing.
You'd argue each issue and tell the judge to knock it down, and you give him cause for knocking it down.
Right. I understand that. What I'm saying though is when you say that he could actually, because I'm saying in reality, like when they look at that stuff, it's juicy to them.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, them being nice would say, yeah, you know, we dismiss it. Because if when you're establishing your status and put it on the record, they try to adjudicate anyway.
Yes, they try to go past
You see what I'm
jurisdiction.
saying? So if whether you're saying that or you're not, when you got those kind of stats in front of them, you know, I'm saying the intensity at which they go at that, what do you think is the realistic way to handle that?
First of all, again, and this is why I say, because basically they're trying to broadside you.
Right.
Now, the deal of it is, you would say,
like you said, the concept.
there are no charges.
Right.
And you also dealing with the issue of corpus delicti.
Right.
Where you already know that. I would take the position, rather than try to battle that, under the rule of discovery, that he wants all your claims.
So basically,
and even if
you don't even get into it, just say,
yeah, you don't argue. Don't argue the matter. Don't argue the matter.
All right, I got you.
Because that creates a jurisdiction.
Right.
You know, you say object. You know, on the rule of discovery, judge, you know, I had no opportunity to review them, to examine them from a legal perspective, to see if the claims are corrected, to see if there's any misrepresentation, to see if there's any hearsay. I have no indictment paper on some of these charges in front of me. You know, under rule of discovery, you know, since he's accusing, you know, I want that, and I want to have time to go see my counsel and go over these documents, examine the language to see if it fits or not, etc. And of course, you already know, Your Honor, that we've already started adjudicating that's a violation of due process, because we haven't really cleared up the issue with the status and even the venue, you know, the jurisdiction and the venue. And I'm not challenging But I am questioning, the claim of the jurisdiction, particularly in this particular venue. That's exactly correct. And so, anyway, for the time being, on that grounds, anyway, I would ask to dismiss. And if not, rule discovery, let me prepare. Now, this is where you take the documents, and you can 9 times out of 10 find all kind of holes, starting even with the capital letters. You know what I mean? That ain't you. And then you take it to the council, to your council, in your due time. Then you set a date and give yourself a couple months. Say, we need a couple months, and we'll go examine this, and then we'll get back with you. Meanwhile, what you do, you get back with your council, then you start preparing your documents properly, and then have them set in and deal with a trial de novo. You know what I mean?
So you're essentially saying that you get the situation delayed by entering in the fact that you haven't had a chance to review the documents.
Yeah, that, on the written discovery.
Right.
Because because they're making that's entered as evidence.
But see, this is what they're doing now too. Like they want you to have state ID when you get the discovery now.
You do have a state ID. You got a nationality card?
Right. I mean, they want to
see, but this is back to Moore's understanding what a nationality card is, and understand that we're Aboriginal indigenous people.
Right.
And you have determined your own status of the state.
Right.
In accord with the law.
Right.
And so here's my state ID. You talk about your state, no, this is my state.
Right.
It's a state of mind.
Yeah, and that too. And then, Judge, what you're saying, I should have figured it out. You're claiming for the record there's a diversity of law and a diversity of citizenship. Thank you. Then apparently this is an improper jurisdiction, isn't it? Right. We don't need to discuss it, do we?
Right. So I'm saying that as far as like when you try to prepare before entering to get the discovery, you got to go through a little.
You can ask for discovery right on the spot.
Yeah, I know that.
And stop the court.
Stop the court. I'm saying like before the procedure start or before the court appearance is required, and you try to get those documents,
No, this is what I would do. Issue a writ of discovery.
Right.
With a time period for them to deliver.
Right.
You understand? Give 10 days to deliver, and you only issue your papers, before your that tribunal date, with the caveat under it. And if they do not respond and ask more questions, you will assume that they made a misjudgment, a mistake.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And we'll consider that they have acquiesced, and any claim that they may have had, etc., is expunged, dead, void.
You can file a judgment against them for not responding.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And then when they don't respond, because you already know the questions that you're going to put in that written, and they're not going to fill out because it's going to make them liable.
Yeah, I did one. That's how I got the discovery for. They didn't give it to me at first, but I did it. I just authenticated all that to the Attorney General, CC, the state judge and all that. They put that thing out easy.
Yes. And then, again.
I sort of followed the steps that you said, but I was able to get it. I just want to see.
Yeah, and this is another reason why I always suggest to CC it to more than one department, to cause them, to have to discuss it, and it's usually easier for them to dismiss it than to discuss it and then try to continue that action. Because if they pursue that action and they've discussed it with someone else, that's conspiracy.
And you can also use a process server, so now you have a witness.
Yes.
Yeah. Because then if you register mail, now you have, that way they can say, I never received it. If they slide for it, they can.
That's right.
They can deny it.
Yeah, that's why sending in certified mail is good too, because you have to have somebody sign it.
Yes. And that's also why you I always say, always be prepared from the door while you're dealing with them, while they have you into that colorful jurisdiction and litigation, that you be making up a rate, and that you send them a bill. And send them that bill, and that's another instrument just conjunctive with all these actions that are taking place. So while they're trying to make you, contract with them, and then they're automatically got plans on making a bill with you, you're making a bill with them, and you're going to send that in
It's just a balance sheet, like a.
Yes.
When they talk about the T-bill, the cross.
Yes.
You know, the charges on each side, well, it goes both ways. That's why I was, I was
Yes.
referencing the judgments, how they're trying to adjudicate you into judgment. For each time they try to get you into dishonor, by them dishonoring you, you holding them liable, you can charge them.
Yes.
Particulars as well.
And then when they don't compensate, put a lien on it.
Do a formal lawsuit.
Yes.
What you're getting at.
Yes, and including arbitrary, like say for instance, yeah. So,
let me ask you a question real quick. Do you suggest when you write them a bill, do you, because of fraud, you ask the U.S. currency? Because it's not lawful money, as the motion says.
no, you do that. You do that. All you gotta say is lawful United States money, as per Article 1, Section 10. You know, just like say for instance, all right, say they lock up your man for something, right? You can also sue them for arbitrary for the absence of your man.
Even mail fraud, if they keep trying to send you stuff that you've, disengaged their contracts, if they keep trying to send you subsequent correspondence, you can get them on mail fraud charges. But you have to get into more of, how you prosecute them on those type of charges.
And that's evidence.
That just takes more research, though.
Yeah, and their documents become the evidence. So that's for the sisters. So keep that in mind. So remember, and that's vice versa with the brothers. If they're hooking up on the system, you understand, you can get them for arbitrary. That's like, so if they lock up your man under color, so he can sue them. You can sue them too because they took your husband. That's called arbitrary. Same thing. Now that's Part 1, Article 5, Article 6, Part 2, Article 6, Rights of Indigenous People, that they can't take the children from you under any pretext. And that goes to the non-support thing, game they play.
Now, what's up with this thing with the fact that the United States don't have signed the Declaration of Indigenous Rights?
Just like, what did you just read there?
Yeah, I know.
Whether they acknowledge it or not, they're obligated. And remember, the rule is under a color of law. Anything done under a color of law, they don't need to understand it. They're as responsible as if they did, because they got a title, they got weapons, and they've been talking trash. They're held to the law, and they can say, well, I don't know about that. In the law, they are responsible. In other words, if you say you're a brain surgeon, you're responsible for anatomy.
I want to know, all right, before, I know you have to get nationalized and everything, that's first.
You have to get conscious. So the first thing I would ask you, what is nationality? So now, somebody talk about nationality. Nationality is not the card. Nationality is a consciousness and the collective knowledge of what it pertains to you being of a nation, either homogeneous, or juristic. You must know which one you're talking about. You must name it. You must know your constitutional principles. You must have a flag and seal, and you must present prior to the action. It is in your best interest to already be operative. You understand? In other words, don't get in trouble and then all of a sudden want to get nationalized. Not that doesn't work, but don't put yourself in a position where it gives appearance that you just get national to try to get out of a contract.
Right.
No, that's not what I'm saying. This is for everyone's information. Now, nationality is one having been either reclaimed by your nation. So let's make a distinction. There's nationalization and then there's naturalization. Naturalization is the issue where in a juristic type of state structure, whereas a foreign or alien is brought into the political forum of the body politic by privilege and is given a nationality card, and so that is conditional, all right, and can be taken from you. Nationalization is when you are of that nation by blood consanguine principle. pedigrees. Meaning that you are more, that's your blood. Whether you acknowledge it or not, that's who you are. All right, that is homogeneous. You understand what I'm saying? If someone come here from another nation and we set them into our tribes, which we often have done, then that would be a naturalization. And so if you have a Moor so-called naturalizing you, a Moor can't be naturalized, not here in the Americas, because you're aboriginal to the land. You can naturalize someone else, but they can't naturalize you. If you fall for that, somebody do, they just actually denationalize you. So this is also what that Moors should understand. If a body of Moors or one of the tribes are naturalizing you, they're actually robbing you. Because they're claiming you will be an alien. You can't be an alien to your inheritance. Do you understand? All right, so keep that in mind.
I hear you. Excuse me, we're gonna have to close. Did you have one question here? He has a question right there. And then we will close out and then proceed to.
When the government, on a document, the government, someone said that someone had a meeting in Washington, somebody in the meeting said, send those niggas back to Africa. And the guy who was in charge of the meeting said, we can't do that because they are a natural heritage to the land.
All right, now.
Bound to determined by heritage.
This is the whole point. Tameri, the land over there is Tameri. You're standing on Africa. Now that's another great Masonic secret. If you don't know that, your concepts are wrong. So they say send you back to Africa. What they mean is send you back to your right mind. They can't do that. It's impossible.
Say that again.
If they say send you back to Africa, which very often they do for people who don't know what's up, the concept is that you're going someplace. No, they're actually threatening their own position because they're sending you back to your right mind. Then once they send you there and then you speak to Cyprian Africanus, the Roman general, then you go back to Mexico. And you find out that you're a traveling man, but you haven't moved a step. Because you're home. You're here by birthright and inheritance. They can't send you anyplace. All they can do is build jails and hold you under wardship. That's why it was important for them to tag us as Negro, Black, or Colored, and minorities, and to get your quote-unquote assumed to be leaders to call you minority and or people of color, which means you're an artificial person, which makes you 14th Amendment. Do you understand? Because that's what color means. All right? Corporate entity and not natural person, which makes you civil liter mortuus, having no judicio standi, no standing in law. All right? Then you're transacting in their name, which puts you under wardship tenures, which legitimizes that flag with the yellow fringes. And so they deal with both booty and prize, not just prize or booty and prize. And since you are a minority, no matter how old you are, you're not capable of doing anything in any sovereign capacity. No matter what your age. And so you remain under wardship tenures, under the state's jurisdiction corporation, i.e., that's the game. Do you understand? But yet, at the same time, you have amnesia, and they're just simply enjoying your estate. But they don't have to account for the profits, because you're under wardship tenures. So this is why I told you earlier, do not call yourself minority. Don't let somebody else call you minority. Don't call yourself people of color, because it's a legal phrase. It's not an identity. This is why they trap people with the idea that that is the identity of these persons under wardship. And once you take the concept that that is an identity, you hold on to it. But you don't know what you just did is legally imprisoned yourself. It's called mental slavery. That's what Noble Drawley talked about. Do you understand? All right.
Wow, what a note to finish on. Wow. Well, that was great. That was great. We had fun. I think the mock court was fun. And we'll be here next week. Every third Wednesday of the week, we're going to have an etymology class so that we can all learn how to really read. Because we don't really know how to read. And Abdullah Talib, Al-Mozi Bey will be giving that class every third Wednesday. I didn't get to talk to Tarik. I didn't get to talk to Tarik to affirm that he was going to be doing a martial demonstration, because that's the 5th week. Wednesday is next week, the 5th week. It happens to be 5 Wednesdays in this month. There he is. I called him up. Did you hear me mention your name? No. Oh, you see how the one works? I said I didn't get to talk to Tarik to affirm that he would be doing a martial law demonstration. And as soon as I said it, did he walk in? I mean, he didn't even hear it. All right, peace. So the affirmation is, will you be doing the demonstration next Wednesday?
The affirmation.
Will you, can you, are you, next Wednesday? Yes? Right here. He's going to demonstrate what the energy, right here in the house, what the energy of Aries, which is going out now, and that energy is going to be handed off to Tauruses. So if you know any Tauruses, they're getting a little bully right now. They're getting a little antsy. They're getting a little out of control because they're getting ready to get all this energy that's going to be coming their way. And then they're going to try to stabilize it. That's why they don't move, they don't want to change anything, and they want to be in serious control because they want to stabilize the energy.
Watch out for your horns.
So watch out for their horns, because they're getting ready to get all the energy passed on to them through air. So next week, right here, demonstration of what the spring energy is that has just come in. All right, so we will see you all next Wednesday, I hope. Peace and love. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. One more thing. Go ahead.
Islam, family. Islam, family. Islam, family. Come on now. Y'all got to come better than that. This is not no cemetery. Y'all talking to Dr. Shaka Zulu now. Y'all had some great brothers that sat up here and gave y'all some wonderful information. Let's give them a round of applause. A round of applause. It is good to see the formulation of our own very own Morris University of Sciences right here. That's right. But the message that I wanted to just drop onto y'all briefly is the importance of coming out to the United Nations meeting that we're having this year for the 7th annual session of Indigenous Peoples Conference that's been taking place from April 21st all the way to May 2nd. What is happening is we have Moors or indigenous individuals who have asserted themselves at the United Nations. And we have a seat there, not just as an individual, we have a seat there on behalf of all of the Moors that are standing here today. Islam? 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 All right? So, some of the information is that I was unable to bring the flyer. However, the information is, come ye all Asiatics. Come learn about your birthrights and your nationality. It's time, Moors, that I'm saying to now step up and represent. Because that's that time right now. We talk about the government, govern human, but we now need to start implementing the organic government right here amongst us. So, on behalf of UMAR, which is the acronym for the United Moorish American Aboriginal Republic, as a representative of that entity, we invite all to come on out to this United Nations affair. And we're having it Thursday and Friday. Thursday we're in the big building on the 13th floor from 2 p.m. all the way to 3:45. Friday is the big extravaganza. Make sure that you come in indigenous attire. Represent, show yourselves. Don't come with a European suit or a Ku Klux Klan outfit. Come with some Moorish garb. Wear your fez proudly, a turban, something. Sisters, no tight clothes. We don't need none of that. Dress modest. But we having that meeting on Friday And Friday, we're going to be meeting at 10 a.m. in front of the main building at the United Nations for a special tour inside of the United Nations. And we're also going to be having a special presentation being done by the United Nations Legal Affairs Department that will be discussing a special presentation with the Moors on treaty law and proclamations and declarations at the United Nations. We're having a special tour, and the tickets for that tour, as well as that presentation, is going to be only $35. Unfortunately, I didn't have we have the tickets here, but we'll still be able to have them to be sold tomorrow. So I will leave my number, and I can give my number out before I leave. If anybody that's interested in obtaining their ticket, we can meet tomorrow, so you can pick up your ticket, and you may be able to, well, go into tomorrow, but you'll definitely be a part of Friday's event. All right? Tomorrow, anytime. I'll give you the number, we meet up.
What's the time again, Tarik?
Which one?
The time.
Thursday.
Oh, for Thursday. Thursday, if you already have to have registered in order to be in the United Nations, because the security is very, very tight. So, and you know, what's really the really up on is that they have switched back on us with the timeliness with this event. Usually when we do the Indigenous Peoples Conference, it takes place in May. They moved it back and pushed it up in April. And then they put us over here with all these European holidays, or so-called holidays. So we got days off, it's a lot of switcheroo stuff. But nevertheless, nothing can stop us now. It's our time for the Moors to stand. Is that right? So this is why we're here. We're going to be meeting Thursday for that brief session in the United Nations big building. But Friday, I would like everybody's concentration to come on out for that, because Friday's the big day. If you can stand the $35 for an individual or $50 for a family, then I'd encourage you to come on down. It's a learning experience. It's great for the family, you know, so that we don't just keep talking Moorish. They can actually see Moorish being worked. They can actually see their mothers and fathers sitting in the seats of government and demonstrating what we're supposed to be doing. Islam? All right, so that's Friday. Friday we're going to be meeting at 10 o'clock a.m. sharp. We'll be going inside of the building at 11, starting the tour at exactly 12. Okay, at about later on in the afternoon, we have a special presentation being done by the Legal Affairs Department. They're going to be talking to us about the treaty laws, and then after that, we're going across the street to our very own Umar's panel on biodiversity. We'll be talking about the Moors' contributions to humanity, past, present, and the future, and also celebrating our indigenous Moorish bazaar. So everybody's free to come on out to that. Islam, peace. Thank you.
All right. I think. All right.
Brothers and sisters, I just want to also give the brother props. And also, where's Brother Van Bobby? He's in Brazil? All right. Because the brother's been doing hard work in the background. You know, a lot of times he's in the front, but he's also in the background. So I want to give the brother acknowledgement for his hard work and making it possible for everybody to have a forum to deal with your affairs. Give him another hand.
Testing. All right. I suppose now that we can start dispersing. It's wonderful to be together again, and we'll see you all next week, and it's fair on Friday, I suppose.
Do we have a going out prayer?
Oh, yeah. Where's Brother Ali? You want to? Let's do a prayer so that we can be cohesive in our travels. Brother. All right.
Stand on the square. 5 on the right, and on the left, 2 on the right. Repeat after me. Allah, Father of the universe.
Allah, Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Sheikh. Sharif. Abdul. Ali. Peace and love.
That's the Free National name for Noble Drew Ali.
You can't, as a Negro black on color, that's what he can do. In other words, like right now, like say for instance, like say they got you hooked up, they got you jammed up downtown, right? Drew National.
Double take too.
Oh, how much that one, brother? How do you focus in?
How you do what?
How you focus in?
Right here. Oh, you have to move this here. It takes you close and then also.
Oh.
Yeah. And then to start, it started working?
Yeah.
Oh, it's working now. See the numbers counting down?
Yeah.
That means you got it working already.
Right. How much that one?
Whatever.
Is that we need to be aware of what nationality actually is, not what we think it is, and the power behind it, and for the people that are starting to come around to get serious about what this is, not just be trying to buy sovereignty through some package because you can't. It doesn't work that way. UCCs can't buy the sovereignty of the nation. That's just contracting. That's contracting under colored activities. But it is good to understand that contracting. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? But never allow that to confuse you with the sovereignty of the nation because it ain't there. You understand what I'm saying? That's unalienable. It can't be bought or sold. It's not transferable. But once you start commercing it, then what you do, you put your birthright into their jurisdiction. That's why they try to encourage people to try to buy their sovereignty through the UCCs. So that gives them a whole new platform of revenues, and you have just commercialized a right unalienable. Now it's in their jurisdiction because you willingly contracted your soul self. That's why I tell people, don't try to get your birthright not through no UCCs. However, if you're going to contract with them, understand the UCCs, but don't think that that's going to get you the sovereignty. Sovereignty is not for sale. Once you commercialize it, you're giving it up yourself. And then you claim to be in your proper person. They gonna screw you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, Islam family.
They might have a question. My question about the question. It's more or less, I was trying to get
You wouldn't have got me this week because mainly when I'm at work, I don't get no signals.
Speak up, brother, so we can get you.
No, this is personal issue. Somebody has private issues. I don't want to put it in the
All right.
I don't know
They gave them an option, so they gave a threat. Yes, that's
we the first one had the race seal. Taj had them too. Taj had
but it was also the manager right there, and then so she was actually they gave her a second call. And the second call, she was actually called and had a second call. One special, but she didn't have any evidence that nobody would have an attorney. So what happened was when they actually came out, they came back into the other one, and the other email on like, we didn't really hear it.
Yeah. He's talking private. He don't want to be shown.
Oh, all right. Take it down.
I like that. Where they got those eyes?
No, we had it. We still had it. I was the
that goes on there. She's like naturally tight on the skin.
No, they do what you can. And this is back to what you can. And that's cool that she stood up at all.
But she had said bill of particulars. She put in the bill of particulars.
How about an affirmative jurisdiction? Within an affirmative jurisdiction within it?
She had a brother that actually prepared the paperwork.
Oh, mistake.
No, he put in the bill of particulars.